A beacon of hope emerges in the Plateau State, where the echoes of conflict between farmers and herders have long disrupted lives. This is the story of Nigerians who have experienced this crisis, their trauma, and how the Peacecore project, which is implemented by GIZ on behalf of the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, transformed some lives through a unique intervention. Peacecore, which stands for Strengthening Capacities for Conflict Transformation and Livelihood for Groups in Vulnerable Situations, has a clear objective: to foster peaceful and inclusive coexistence between farmers and herders by addressing the root causes of conflict and promoting sustainable livelihoods, especially for women and vulnerable groups. The Peacecore project is building bridges in communities once divided by violence. At the core of this initiative lies a powerful component: trauma processing activities, or TPA, recognizing the deep scars left by conflict. The Peacecore project trained 12 psychologists from Jos to work alongside 28 lay helpers consisting of teachers, health workers, religious leaders, and other key community members. Together, they reached out to children from both farming and herding communities who showed signs of trauma. These children, identified through the International Trauma Questionnaire, available in both English and Hausa, participated in up to 10 sessions of targeted play and self-soothing techniques. The goal? To help them process their trauma and find healing. Over 2 cycles, a total of 112 children were reached, each given the tools to rebuild their emotional well-being. The process didn't end with the children. Parents and caregivers were also involved, sharing their observations through post-test interviews. This holistic approach ensured that the healing extended beyond the individual, fostering stronger, more resilient families and communities. But what does this healing look like through the eyes of those who facilitated it?
When we came into the various communities we worked, the children were invited, particularly children that have experienced, witnessed, or have even heard of these traumatic events. To avoid speculation and make it very professional, we had a psychological tool that was used for the assessment and diagnosis, which aided the selection of these children. For some communities, we had 22 children for the intervention.
In the trauma processing, we have 10 sessions. You do 10 sessions at a stretch. We do the session once a week. Basically, that's the standard. But you can have 2 sessions in a week, but you can't have more than 2 sessions in a week. At least 4 days, so that you allow the child to process the activity that is being carried out.
A typical session begins with self-regulation for the psychologists and the lay helpers, because it's important considering the fact that the lay helpers are also within the community. Some of them had also experienced these conflicts or crises, as it were. So we begin with self-regulation to ensure that both psychologists and lay helpers were set and ready for the intervention.
And then we have a session with our children. We assemble the children, we sing a song, we have our national anthem, our answer, and then they can sing their local dialect song, and we danced with the children for 5 to 10 minutes too.
After that, then we go into the play session. The play session is in 2 phases, where the children would have the first session, and then we again go back for the second session so that they have opportunity to switch toys.
So we have a sandbox that they play with, and you see that the sandbox is small, and we have our reasons for allowing the child to play inside the sandbox, so the child will be concentrated. His attention will not be divided or driven outside. When you allow the child to just play anywhere, you find out that the concentration, what we really want the child to learn, is not there. So He's restricted to play inside the sandbox. Every child has a lay helper, a child per lay helper, and we have our sitting position. And during this session, a lay helper is not allowed to talk to the child. You just quietly watch the child do what he wants to do, pick the toy of his choice. You don't even tell him this is what you will do. No, you just allow the child do all of those processes.
The whole essence of that is that one of the things trauma does to these children is are withdrawn. They don't play any longer. Things they used to enjoy doing, they no longer do it. So we adopted the play model because it's the gateway into the children. Once a child can play, you know, more often than not, is healthy. He or she is a healthy child. But when you see them withdrawn, not playing, in the course of playing, they interact, they do a lot of things that gives you a view into their thought pattern. So that playing was our gateway into their state of mind.
And after the first play, then we have the lying it. It's also another relaxation technique. From the beginning, you'll notice that most of the children don't even know how to hold the crayon for the lying it. It's allowed. You don't teach him. Once you just introduce the lying it to the child, you just watch the child do what he wants to do.
For example, in our first 2-3 sections with them, many of them, because of the state they were in, they could not even draw it. With even the aid of the lay helpers, they were still finding it difficult. So that made us know that truly there was problem. And over time, from the 4th, 5th, 7th to the 10th section, they became very fluent in doing it, which is an indicator that the healing has started taking place.
After the entire process, then we now do debriefing, again between the psychologist and the lay helpers, where the lay helpers could give their feedback based on what they have observed in terms of patterns of play for each child that they played with. And also for us as psychologists, we have our overall observation and assessment. So we could also put everything together, and then we do what is called debriefing, after which we share refreshments for the lay helpers and the children, and then we depart for the next session.
Before this intervention, the Muslim children and the Christian children hardly meet face to face. They hardly play. But in the course of this intervention, we saw them playing together. Children that were so withdrawn before we came, we saw them playing.
From the first 2 sessions, you could see some kind of withdrawal. They are not really free and willing to participate, so to say. But basically from the 3rd, 4th session, now they know that consistently we are coming. So they become used to us and they're beginning to become more comfortable.
I remember during our first session, I was like, really? Can we do this with these children? You ask them to sing, nobody wants to sing. Tell them to pick the toy to go and play with. Somebody will just pick a particular toy. And some of them are working casually to even go and pick the toy. The second session was also like that. But as we keep going, we keep progressing, you see them being excited and want to do more.
It was this crisis situation that happened to affect their community. So the child himself he lost his brother, and he witnessed the killing of the brother. Since then, the child began to be afraid of people. When those around, he don't want to associate with people. We never stay where people are gathered. Always afraid.
Muna samun mu lafiya ba komai, sai suka zo mana hari. Har suka zo sun kashe baban. Lokacin da an kashe baban, ba salama, ba damuwa yanzu.
The child go through so many trauma in terms of having nightmares. The child is isolated, don't want to mingle with anyone. He's not performing very well in school, and so many things around the child. But as time goes on, no more nightmares, there's improvement.
The child before, he's just, I would say, fearful. He is not free. But gently, gradually, by the time we started the program, he's getting free now, and then he started doing his activities properly. So no more nightmares as before. He's free.
Daga na haka zuwa ka sa ta cikin wannan program. To dama kowane ranar dare tana tashiwa da dare sai ta ji kaman karan bindiga. In ta ga mana zuwa za ta gudu ne ta boye. To amma during this program da shike an hada wannan mudi aka mix nasu.
To da ma yaron tun da aka yi kira sai na. To yaro yana cikin tashin hankali ne. Sai da waɗannan suka zo suka kira mu aka kawo yaran nan an dinga koyar masu a nan sai hankalin shi yaro ya fara kwanta da ya ga waɗannan zai ji tsoro ne saboda kirasin da aka yi.
So it was not that easy. They were somehow tense from the beginning, but we tried to let them know that they are safe here and there is no any problem. This thing, we are doing it just to ensure that they shouldn't have any bad thinking in them again against each other or against one another.
I have to commend the GIZ for bringing all this. Before I don't know that things like this happen. What GIZ did was excellent.
And for the children themselves, the impact has been life-changing. Peacecore's work is more than just trauma processing. It also aims to support livelihoods, strengthen peace-building capacities, and address the emotional wounds of conflicts. It's paving the way for a brighter, more peaceful future. In the face of adversity, hope prevails. From trauma processing to many other interventions, GIZ is working to shape a future worth living in the world.
I really want to commend GIZ for this very wonderful program.
Allah zai taimake ku. Godiya ne nake ba ku.
I want to thank GIZ for this. It's good they put children in this trauma healing.
Gaskiya ban ji daɗin hakan ba. Ni ma bana iya bikin koyi wani abu.
I really thank GIZ with this program because we learn a lot.
Today, I can be proudly happy with GIZ for what they have done. They have changed many families. They have changed many people in this community with the program they introduced here.
We are grateful for this GIZ that brings this program to our community. We are hoping for more projects like this to continue in our community.